Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to Our Watch. I'm Tim Thompson. Glad to have you with us today. And with me, as always, as we answer questions about what's going on in schools, is Jessica Tapia. Jessica, welcome back.
Thank you. Love being here.
Yeah, we're answering people's questions. We've been getting a lot of questions coming in. You've got one about something happening in our local area.
Yes.
And that is
very specific. So I'll read that to you. Is addressed to you. Hi, Tim Thompson. I'm a parent at Dorothy McElhaney Middle School in Murrieta. I wanted to bring to your attention that they are allowing a biological female to change in the biological male locker room. The principal is telling families of boys in that class that if they are uncomfortable in the situation, that they need to change their schedules. I am not getting far in conversation with Principal Patain. I wanted to see how you would recommend we proceed and to see if you could bring light to this issue. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, well, I am happy to bring light to this issue. That's what we're called to do as Christians.
Yep.
Ephesians 5:11, we're not supposed to partake in these wicked deeds done in darkness. Rather, we expose them. So that's what we're doing today. We're going to shed some light on what's going on there at Dorothy McElhaney. This is definitely a problem. It's a problem across the state, across our nation, where we are taking what should be a normal thing, people going into locker rooms and making this a political issue. And the thing that really frustrates me as I look at this is we're telling the young boys that if you're uncomfortable with this, you have to change your schedules.
Yep.
Why is it that all the normal people have to change everything about our lives to accommodate somebody who's having, and let's face it, and I say this with all empathy, a mental illness where they're not perceiving reality for what it is. So we're changing everybody else's lifestyle to fit this, when really what we should be doing is addressing the one student.
Yes.
And so here's where we're at. The principal needs to come out and make a statement to the school, not just to the boys that are there and telling the boys, hey, you changed your schedule around, but they need to come out, let all the parents know what's going on. And the parents need to be applying a lot of pressure to this principal and to the school board. We have a really good school board in that district. That is Murrieta School District. They need to go to that school board, let the school board know that this is not acceptable, and they need to let their voice be heard. And what happens when people let their voice be heard, then we can start doing something about it. You had to take a strong stance because of what you believe, and you know a lot about this type of situation, right?
Yes. You know what? This is one of the very directives that I was fired upon refusing. And it's funny because so many people, even the people who fired me, would, make comments like, this is likely not to happen, but if it were to happen where a transgender wanted to come into your locker room, if they're identifying as a female, you let them in. It's policy that you do that. And even though I had never had that situation, and so it is crazy for me to read that it is actually happening.
Right.
And so I just want people to know that it is happening, because so many people were shocked that I was fired upon something that they didn't think was even a reality. It is a reality. There are children of the opposite sex entering into these locker rooms that should not be there. Parents aren't aware. Kids don't know how to process that. And let's think about these PE teachers and coaches for a second too. I just came across a story last week, and it's a whole thing we'll probably have to save for next time. But a male coach had 2 females entering his locker room, fully undressing. Boys were flocking to them to watch this show, and he went and was like, no, get dressed. I'm going to take you up to the athletic director. Athletic director said, don't cause a scene. It's okay. They have lockers checked out to them. This is how it is now.
Yeah.
And he lost his job. He had to walk away.
Yeah. See,
it's reality.
Yeah, this is a reality. It's wrong what they're doing. And think about these kids that are put in this situation saying, if you are uncomfortable, just say something. We're going to move your schedule around. You know what happens in the current climate we're in right now is if a kid says anything, then they're labeled. Yes. They're labeled as a transphobe. Yeah. They're put in a position where they have to choose. Am I just going to be uncomfortable so that way I'm not uncomfortable being called a transphobe? It's wrong to put the kids in this type of situation. The adults have to stand up and say, this is wrong. We're not going to let this happen anymore. Get that one child that has the issue, get that one child the help that child deserves, because clearly that child has a mental illness. Get the child the help that that child deserves, but don't put all of these other children at risk because of that. It's just not right. The adults need to stand up and common sense needs to prevail. All right, we got another question to answer.
Yes. So next question, another pretty specific event that has unfolded at a public school. So somebody shared with me that their grandson's school has taken away moms and muffins and dads and donuts. This is common. I know my school district did this. I can remember this from back when even I was a kid. But they took it away, she put in capital letters, because a gay couple, 2 guys came and complained about it. And so she is asking for suggestions on how to address this with the principal. Very upset that this special event was taken away from all of the kids, all of the rest of the parents, because of one, gay couple coming to complain about it.
Right. Here we are again, where everybody else has to suffer because one person is bent out of shape. Dads and donuts, that's something when I was raising up my kids, I loved going to the school and hanging out with my kids at school, having dads and donuts, and it was just an awesome time. And to take this away from all the kids and the dads, taking this away from the dads, it's just not right what's going on here. Again, common sense has to prevail. But, when I was young, my father died. He died in a car wreck when I was 5. Oh, wow. And that was hard, of course. And imagine my mother going to the school and saying, take away dads for donuts because my son doesn't have a dad.
Exactly.
Well, that wouldn't be fair to all the other kids. And my mom would never have done that. Yeah. It was one of those things where I had to cope with life. I had to deal with life and know that, hey, this just sucks. My dad died. And what we did was on a couple occasions, we had an uncle come with me for things like that. We had another male figure come in and say, hey, you know what? His dad died, but I'm stepping in for the day. And that's a way you handle these type of things. But you don't ruin it for everyone because of one person. And that's, again, where common sense needs to prevail. So what do you do in this situation? You go to the principal, you go to the school board, you make your voice be heard, you demand that we have moms and muffins, dads and donuts, put back in. Let's not ruin it for everyone. Let your voice be heard.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm thinking about this and I'm like, what did they want out of this? Because if they're 2 males raising a child, I mean, I don't know, just both of you show up to dads with donuts then, I guess. But let's figure out how to work this out. And again, not cancel it for the 99%.
Right.
So we definitely have a theme here with just showing up to school board meetings, letting your voice be heard, reaching out to the principal. So really the next one is right in line with our theme. Someone asked, how do we get this parental notification policy in our school district? I need information, please, specifically for the La Mesa Spring Valley School District, about an hour from here.
So just for the sake of our audience that might not know what policy this person's asking about, tell us about the policy. Sure.
So parental notification policy it's cut and clear. It just asks that all school staff, and specifically teachers, as they're usually the ones to find out about this sort of request first, but that all information goes to parents. Because right now, current guidance from the state says that anything about gender identity that is shared with a teacher or school personnel needs to be kept from parents in the case that the parent doesn't yet know. And so this policy overrides that current guidance and says, no, within 3 days of you finding out that a child is starting to, deal with some sort of confusion about who they are, you need to let the parents know so that we can do what we are meant to do in the public education system, is be that triangle of student, teacher, parent, and continue to work as a team, for the betterment of the child. Also, so that teachers aren't compelled to lie. Again, this hits home for me because when this policy was put on me, I was directly asked to lie to parents and just simply said, no, that's against who I am and what I believe in, and was fired for that. So I have a huge heart for seeing this policy be put into place everywhere so that another teacher doesn't have to suffer the way I have, but most importantly, so that parents have their God-given rights. And we're not seeing those slowly but surely stripped away, because this would just be if we continue to allow this, slowly but surely just one right to be taken away, they're just going to look to the next and the next
Right.
until we really are just birthing people. And then once the kids are here, they're the states or the governments.
Right. Which is what they want.
Ultimately.
Right.
Yes. So that's what that policy is.
Yeah. So the question is, how can I get this policy implemented at our school district? And that's a difficult question to answer just face value, because you have to know certain things. You have to know, number one is, do I have a school board that would be willing to put a policy like this in place?
Right.
Oftentimes what I've found here in the state of California is the answer is going to be no. But the first thing is, get with one of your school board members. You only need one to get this placed onto the agenda. So you get with one of them, notify them of the policy, ask them, is this something you'd be willing to put on the agenda? If you do have somebody willing to put it on the agenda, then great. That's awesome. Then the next step is, do you have 3 votes? Because you have to have 3. You have to have a majority vote to put this into place. So step number 1, get with your school board member, see if you got them willing to do it. Step number 2, get the votes. But then if you don't have those things, here's what we got to do is 2024, you've got to elect a new school board. You've got to get new people on board that will put these kind of policies in place. So if somebody is wanting to get this put into place, they can email us, info@ourwatch and .com. We'll make sure that we get them all the information. We'll get them the written policy. We'll get them connections to the people, the lawyers that they need to get connections to. We will do all that for them, but they have to have somebody on the school board that's willing to do it.
Super good to know.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's all the questions we have for today. I want to remind our audience, if you've got questions, you want answers, get those over to me and Jessica. We're going to try to do everything we can to answer these for you. You can send them over to info@ourwatch.com. We'd love to arm you with good, true, right information. So God bless you. We'll see you next time right here on Our Watch with Tim Thompson.